Moving on, the final hearing of President Yoon's impeachment trial wrapped up yesterday, and the Constitutional Court today began deliberations. To delve deeper into the recent hearing and what lies ahead, let us turn to our political correspondent, Shin Ha-young. Ha-young, first, walk us through the president's final hearing yesterday.
Sure. So the 11th and final impeachment hearing came 73 days after the National Assembly passed an impeachment motion following President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration on December 3rd. And as the final speaker in his trial, President Yoon defended his actions, insisting that his call for martial law was a one-off plea to the public during what he's described as a state of emergency caused by legislative obstruction and budget cuts from the opposition party. Take a listen.
지난 2년 반 동안 오로지 대통령 끌어내리기를 목표로 정부 공직자 줄탄핵 그리고 입법과 예산 폭거를 계속해 왔습니다. 헌법이 정한 정당한 견제와 균형이 아니라 민주적 정당성의 상징인 직선 대통령 끌어내리기 공작을 그야말로 쉼 없이 해온 것입니다.
He also pledged to push for political reform and more effective governance through constitutional amendments if he were to resume his duties. And despite his firm stance, Yoon also apologized for the confusion and inconvenience caused by his martial law declaration. And the National Assembly's impeachment panel co-chair Jung Chung-lee delivered his final statement before Yoon, saying that the public had already rejected Yoon and urged the court to uphold the impeachment. Take a listen.
President Yoon took the oath of office to uphold the Constitution and defend the nation. Yet he sent martial law troops to invade the National Assembly and trampled on the Constitution. The respondent no longer has the qualifications to remain as president. He is no longer the president in the hearts of the people.
And starting today, the Constitutional Court justices decided to hold deliberations every day except holidays and weekends until the verdict is delivered. And deliberations will take place in a secure room with anti-eavesdropping devices, and only the judges will have access, ensuring strict security throughout the process.
Now, all that's left is the court's verdict. When exactly will it happen? And what factors could affect the timing?
Well, Jung-min, based on the past presidential impeachment trials, the verdict is expected to come out around mid-March, right after about 2 weeks of deliberations, so some point between March 10th and 14th. And for the late former President Roh Moo-hyun, the court dismissed the impeachment motion 14 days after the final hearing, while it took 11 days for former President Park Geun-hye. And the court usually announces the verdict date just a few days before, and this time it's also likely to be confirmed 2 to 3 days in advance as well. And however, there is a factor that we need to consider when it comes to the timeline, which is the appointment of the vacancies on the Constitutional Court's Justice Panel. And the verdict on whether or not acting President Choi Sang-mok violated the Constitution in deferring the appointment of left-leaning Court Justice nominee Ma Eun-hyuk will be shared at 10 in the morning tomorrow. And this legal dispute follows the filing of a lawsuit by Assembly Speaker Woo Won-sik earlier this month after acting President Choi appointed just 2 of the 3 justice nominees, citing the lack of bipartisan support for Ma Eun-hyuk. And if the court upholds the jurisdictional dispute and Ma joins the bench, it would need to decide whether Ma should also participate in deliberating President Yoon's impeachment case. And this could take additional time, particularly if Yoon's side requests a retrial to allow the new justice to review and familiarize himself with the case, potentially delaying the ruling.
And now let's talk about something else. Today, opposition leader Lee Jae-myung's final hearing was held in an appellate court over his election law violation charges. Tell us about that.
Sure. Indeed, the final appellate trial hearing for main opposition Democratic Party Lee Jae-myung's violation of the Public Official Election Act was held this afternoon at the Seoul High Court.
What is meant by the world will follow common sense and principles. The court will make the right decision.
In the original verdict, the Seoul Central District Court ruled that Lee had spread false information while disputing corruption allegations during his presidential campaign. And during a media interview in 2021, Lee denied knowing a man involved in a land development scandal in Seongnam and was also reported to have made false claims during a related parliamentary audit. And the court handed him a 1-year prison sentence, suspended for 2 years. And if the Constitutional Court upholds the motion to impeach President Yoon, there will be an early presidential election within 60 days. And the speed of the Supreme Court's review could become a crucial factor in Lee's presidential ambitions. And if the first ruling stands, Lee will lose his legislative seat and be barred from running in elections for 10 years. And the decision on his appeal could come as early as the end of next month. However, there is a variable. Earlier this month, Lee filed a request with the appellate court for a constitutional review, seeking a ruling on the constitutionality of relevant legal provisions. And if the court accepts the request, the trial will be suspended until the Constitutional Court issues a ruling. So far, the appellate court has yet to make a decision on this request.
Right, so March would be crucial for South Korea's political situation. Thanks for the wrap-up, Hayo.
Thank you.